So what's up? Let's do some game talk. So I'm going to be discussing noob-friendly conventions, invading games, and the definition of OP. I'm going to be discussing OP from the perspective of an MTG player. Basically, that is one of the best long-standing tactical strategy games to ever exist. It's been around since before a lot of people were born. It's been around since I was a kid. It has a really good grasp on gaming mechanics and a good understanding on what balance is and what overpowered really is. So, in the world of MTG, overpowered is something that you either need to use to be competitive or prepared to defend yourself against. And I'm going to use that to discuss things that are considered overpowered in Destiny, as well as many other video games when it comes to the PvP arena or multiplayer for the rest of you out there. So, with the overpowered situation, I'm going to save that for last. Right now, we're going to discuss noob-friendly conventions invading all games, because this doesn't just apply to Destiny. This applies to every shooter that's out, and some games that aren't shooters. This is going to apply to some RPGs, because we all know that noobs suck. Noob basically means new. It's a new player. It's a guy who doesn't really understand and has to get thrashed until he does understand. But a lot of shit is phasing out. Like, the learning curve is just being done away with. Everybody who learned to play shooters from getting their ass kicked by the Sandy Ravages out there, you're just gonna get phased out because game publishers need more customers. They need more customers, they need new customers, and they can't get more new customers with people around who can play. With people who understand radar, map knowledge, how to use different weapons, who can make quick combinations and destroy people proficiently. That's not good for the people who make the games, for the people who publish the games, because they're trying to make money. They need new people who don't know shit about shit, who really don't get what's going on, and they need those people to play, because people like me are just going to thrash those people, and they need to kind of imbalance the game to make it fair for them. Well, not really fair for them, but fair in their eyes. It won't be fair for them, because they won't have to go through the gauntlet and really learn how to play. They'll just have shit handed to them. They'll have auto aim, like super strong auto aim. Destiny has insane auto aim right now. Like, when I'm shooting at a guy and one of his teammates walks past while I'm shooting on him, it completely drags my gun just way off into the distance, because like it just follows whoever. Like, the auto aim doesn't really benefit you at all, like, not in my book, because when you're aiming at someone else and someone just decides to cross paths with that person, completely takes you off. So the gunfight you were just winning, you've lost now, because you're aiming out in the fucking wilderness when just a moment ago you aimed at the guy's head. That's a problem for me, and honestly, I wouldn't mind a FPS with no auto aim on the console. Like, wouldn't bother me at all. I don't play PC games because I don't like using the keyboard to walk around. I mean, it's just annoying. Like, using a keyboard, using WASD to walk around just isn't for me. The mouse is brilliant. The keyboard holds you back, and numbers are everywhere in the fucking keyboard. So how the hell am I supposed to access all my guns when I gotta walk with WASD and then I gotta switch guns with a bunch of shit that's everywhere else? I just don't like it. But I would love to have an FPS with no auto aim on the console, so we can really see who's good. So there's a really steep learning curve, and I can put in the work. I can really learn to thrash motherfuckers, because I love the process. I love, learning about the game, getting in depth with the meta, really earning my stripes and getting through the learning curve and working my way up until I'm really proficient from skill and knowledge. I like that sort of thing. That's why I play these types of games. I once heard somebody say, in order to be a beast, you got to be in love with the process, and I feel that shit. I'm in love with the process of gaining skill and knowledge in different aspects of different games, even real life physical games, even a game of life. I like that, and I feel like the only way you can really beast in these games is to go through the process and get the shit kicked out of you and really get good, really come up. And I like doing those types of things. I like it in RPGs. I like coming up, getting fucked up, finding new swords, new armors. I like Dark Souls. I like Demon Souls. I like a lot of shooters. I like Destiny. I'm playing the shit out of Destiny because of all the armor and combination. I'm looking for new combinations, like new weird, crazy shit that I can do. And when I find them, I'm gonna upload them. But there's gonna be a lot of new conventions because they're gonna phase us out because we're in the way. We're too good. We've been playing shooters for too long. Like, everybody's been playing fucking shooters games since high school. So we know the ins and outs of Halo. We know the ins and outs of COD. We know all this shit. And we've all become quite proficient. A little bit too proficient. And the next generation of guys who are going to be playing these games is going to get their chance to shine. And they're not going to get their chance to shine because they came up. They're going to get it because it was given to them by the publishers of the game. Basically, what's going to happen, and it's already happening now, it's been happening for a few years, there's just going to be an influx of crazy amounts of noob-friendly conventions, such as manufactured lag. Now, we all learn from Call of Duty that the lag in these games is manufactured. They learn from putting this shit on LAN and fucking just setting up a one-on-one game on the same LAN just to see how the lag really works. And then they found out that lag is put into the game on purpose, and it's not how it used to be where you just had a bad connection and your game was stuttering. Like, people have bad connections and the game doesn't stutter at all. It's super smooth. The reason it's super smooth because the lag is manufactured. It's set up to put people in favorable positions. So basically, before a game even starts, the winner's chosen. There's already been somebody chosen to win. So you're gonna get in games where it just seems like, why the fuck can't I kill these guys? What the hell's going on? It's because you lost the coin toss. That's just what it is. The lag is manufactured in these games. And you can see it in a lot of games. Like, games don't stutter anymore. When's the last time you seen your game stutter? But you will see yourself shooting a guy 50 times and he just won't kill over. You will see a lot of trades, and that's manufactured lag. Somebody gets chosen to have a better connection at the beginning of the game, and then fuck the other guys. And you're gonna find yourself trying way, way harder to kill guys. That's why you see motherfuckers like Wings of Redemption, they only camp. And camping is annoying, but honestly, I get where you're coming from. He only camps because he knows that the lag won't allow his skill to prevail. And that's just what it's coming down to. Skill will no longer prevail. They're gonna, like, right now, Destiny has grenades that even if you miss, they'll go around a corner and stick to you. All right, they got these grenades that, like, I throw sticky grenades past guys sometimes, and the game doesn't give a fuck. The game doesn't I threw it over his head. I'm like, oh shit, I missed. No, the shit comes back down and sticks him. And also, I've had the opposite happen where I hit the guy and watched it roll off his armor, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck was that? So these new conventions of kind of fuck you, you'll get the toss up is what's coming down the pipe. Crazy amounts of auto aim, fucking manufactured lag, grenades that do the killing for you. Like, people are playing Call of Duty with really just 2 buttons. Like, Call of Duty's been dumbed down so much, really anybody can play it. That's why you see like YouTube channels popping up from people who don't even play video, who don't even like video games. Like, there's a bunch of channels on YouTube of people who ain't got no business playing a video game because the learning curve is so steep and you would fuck them up. But Call of Duty's so easy, it's so noob friendly, it's been changed so much with stuff with so much auto aim, so much lag, so much bullshit that anybody can start a COD channel, whether they can play or not, because you only need to know how to use 2 buttons. It's set up now for just any asshole to play. And I guess that's a good thing to invite people, but at the same time, you've ruined what you built. Like, it's like inviting people to play chess and giving them, taking the pawns out of the way. It's like, nah, you don't have to worry about the pawns. You just get to use the cool stuff. You just get to play with the horsey, right? Right? Fuck, nah, you ain't gotta learn to play. Just fuck around with the horsey, move wherever you want on the board. I'll play real chess. I mean, I'm still gonna beat you because you fucking suck. But hey, you get to take out more of my pieces. You won't have to learn. You'll just kind of learn. I don't know. And I'm just like, I'm not with it. I'm not with the crazy amounts of auto aim with all the fucking lag. I'd love to play a shooter on console without auto aim to see how it feels, to really get my skills up there. So when I thrash motherfuckers, when I really fuck people up, I can be like, yeah, I really murdered you, son. And motherfuckers aren't going to be able to catch up to the people who can, you know, adapt to a learning curve, who can adapt to a changing environment. That's not a problem for me. You know, I can learn. I like to learn. I like to build. I like to get a grasp on new things. And I'd love to see something like that, but it's never going to happen. All the fucking people who have been getting nice at video games for the past couple years, you get moved out. They're going to bring in new players who don't know how to do shit but hit fucking L2, R2 and win. That's all they know. They're gonna give them all sorts of power weapons for no reason. As a matter of fact, there's too many power weapons on the board anyway. Now, I like the fact that you can put your character, your team, I mean not your team, but you can build the character you want in PvP. Unlike in Halo where you had to find the sniper, you had to find the shotgun, you had to know how to use power weapons as a team and do things correctly. But I don't mind that you get to start with a sniper rifle. I don't mind that you get to go to the heavy weapon. I don't mind that people get supers. I don't mind dying by supers. My super is always better than a noob super. I don't really mind, but expect to see more of this in the future. Super supers and super heavies and super snipers. Like, you think shit's bad now. Like in Halo 4, you could completely miss a guy's head and it would just say, nah, you got him. It's a headshot. That's the type of shit that's coming down. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna have to find the games that stick to the true formula and play those. And then to the ones that don't, just tell them to fuck off. But I like Destiny. Destiny doesn't have too much noob friendly shit, but it has it. You know what I'm saying? Those sticky grenades of Destiny are a bit too stupid. They really need a rework. And I just don't appreciate the learning curve going. Destiny still has a bit of a learning curve, which allows better players to dominate, but expect in future games for that shit to go away. I actually like Titanfall. I actually like the fact that if you're better, you stomp motherfucker. If you're better at feeding on grunts, if you're better at wall running, you destroy people. I really like that. They have this thing in Titanfall called Voltron. That's basically when your team is pretty much all Titans and the enemy team has none. Because you're better at your skill level is just higher. You know what to do with a Titan and they don't. You know what to do with your soldier when your enemy has a Titan and they don't. Or the pilot and they just don't. Speaking of Titanfall, I like MOBAs. I don't really play in them, but I like to watch them. I think they're amazing. They don't hold your hand. There's no hand holding in MOBAs. It is like a fucking active multiplayer RPG with no hand holding. Nothing gets taken out. Nothing is nerfed. That shit is amazing. Like if you watch competitive COD or competitive Battlefield, they've taken like 20 guns out of the game. They're like, nah, this isn't allowed. These 10 guns aren't allowed. This tactic isn't allowed. You can't use this perk. You can't, like, what the fuck am I watching, bitch? What is this? This is not the game I play. In MOBAs, there's no hand holding. They don't give a fuck. There's no nerves. Like, no, bitch, you want to use the great fucking Excalibur? Use it. All right, you want to use this character? Fucking use them. All right, they are all out. They are playing the game it is meant the way it is meant to be played, and I love that about them. I fucking love that shit. Like, there's no hand holding in that shit. There's a real steep learning curve, and people don't. There's no love in a MOBA. They're like, look, listen, bitch, you need to get better, or you need to fuck off. Like, there's no love. It is cold in those streets. In the streets of Dota and League of Legends, they are cold fucking blooded out there. All right, there's no love in that game. It's like, bitch, either get better or eat a dick. And I love that. I love the fact that you gotta fucking try and get better and do something with yourself. Like, you gotta really push to get fucking better or fuck you. And I wish more of these shooters, these console shooters had that. I wish they weren't changing RPGs to where everything's just gonna be easy mode. I like getting fucked up and trying to get better. And then they have so they have this matchmaking now. Like, and I don't really mind matchmaking, but server browsing is gone. Battlefield still has it, but I don't think it's gonna last too much longer. Server browsing is gone, and I thought server browsing was fine. Matchmaking and this skill-based matchmaking is straight bullshit, because first of all, they just match you with anybody. You're playing against motherfuckers in Brazil, and it makes the bullshit lag in the game 10 times worse. And then they got the skill-based matchmaking that doesn't match you to play with people on your skill level, but only matches you against people of your skill level. And the worst thing in the world is to be playing against 5 guys who are just good as you with people on your team who can't do anything. It's like they might as well be using Nintendo controllers. They might as well not have all the buttons. That's what skill-based matchmaking does that they put in all these games, and it's just not fair. It's like, if you made the mistake of getting good at a game, fuck you. Fuck you. You fucked up. You should have stayed shitty and relied on auto aim, because now you're gonna get matched up against monsters, and the guys on your team are just gonna be shit. And I mean, there's just a lot of just noob friendly bullshit coming down a pipe. Just bad. Everything has bad spawns. Destiny, for honestly to be made by Bungie, the spawns are kind of fucked up in a lot of the maps. They're way too fucked up. Like, and you know, I missed the ranking system that Halo 3 had, where like if you were a bad player, you just lost rank. Like, people knew you sucked. Like, you just weren't an officer anymore. Just like, no, you suck. You're not an officer anymore. Get the fuck out of here. I used to love that shit, because I actually had to be good to maintain my rank, and people who weren't just lost it. It's like, listen, you didn't learn from the gauntlet, so now you lose your rank. I like that system. It's never coming back. It's never coming back. Good spawns are never gonna happen. Too many noob friendly conventions, and that's just what it is. That's just what it is. A sad state of affairs. But man, that's the truth. That's just what the fuck it is. Expect things to get worse, never get better. And with that said, let's move on to overpowered. So, like I said before, overpowered is something you either need to use to be competitive or prepare to defend yourself against. Now, we've seen things that hold on. What I'm trying to say is, the way Destiny approaches things that are overpowered is via hearsay. All right. In order for something to be overpowered, it has to be put into action and be shown to be overpowered. But Destiny nerfs things based off fucking hearsay and water cooler talk. Like the Vex Mythic class and the Pocket Infinity were nerfed. All right. Pocket Infinity was something nobody used. And not only did nobody use it, nobody fucking had it. Because nobody was really getting the fucking bounty for it. Right? It was rare to see a Pocket Infinity. I don't even really remember really being killed with it. And before you could even get a chance to try it out, it was nerfed to shit. So it's like, just in case you thought you were gonna, if you ever got this gun and you ever got interested in trying it out, game over. We've already fucked you. All right, same thing with the Vex Mythic class. It's the hardest. It was the hardest gun to get in the game. Even today, I rarely see Vex Mythic class, and I still play in a Vault of Glass with guys who don't have it. They've played this Vault of Glass over 20 times. They don't have a Vex Mythic class, and I think there's something to that. Like, this is just a theory of mine, but I think when you roll a character, you're weighed a certain way to have a better chance at rolling certain things. Like, I have 3 characters. I have a Warlock, a Hunter, and a Titan. I've got the Vex Mythic class to drop for me 4 times. Only drops on my Hunter. Does not drop on anybody else. Only drops on my Hunter. And that makes me think, like, something's up with these. I don't know anything. I can't really prove anything, but I think something's really broken about that. That I've got the Vex Mythic class 4 times, only on 1 character. And I've played it on all characters several times, and I'm still playing with guys who've never got it. So for them to nerf a gun that, 1, hasn't shown itself to be prevalent, and 2, hasn't shown itself to be something you need to use, but for them to nerf that and let the Suros and the fucking Hawk Moon exist, like, are you insane? The Suros has been sold twice by Xur and is the most prevalent auto rifle in the game. It's better than every other auto rifle, including the other exotics. A Monte Carlo and a Hard Light don't stand a chance against the Suros. Nothing stands a chance against the Suros as far as auto rifles go. And they don't even take a look at that shit. And I'm not saying the Suros regime is overpowered. I'm just saying, if you're going to take a look at something, you might want to take a look at something that's super prevalent and is top tier. All right, the Vex Mythic class is not top tier amongst, you know, primary weapons of any type. And it's hard as shit to get. A lot of people don't have it, and I rarely see it. Now, if I saw teams of people, like 4 or 5 guys on an enemy team all the time running Vex Mythic class, then I'd say, okay, this is a candidate for overpower. But I don't see that all the time. I see the Hawk Moon a lot, because if you have the Hawk Moon, you're running in PvP. That's all there is to it. If you got lucky and you got the Hawk Moon, whatever you were playing before, when you were playing PvE or you doing strikes or whatever, not anymore. Now you're doing PvP. Whatever you thought you were doing, you're done. You're now doing PvP. And I find that to be a bit peculiar for them to look into something like the Vex Mythoclast and not something else. Like, people know exactly what the Vex Mythoclast is, and they still don't have it. All right, and for them to nerf something that could, in a way, kind of protect you from something that is super prevalent, like the Surge regime, or protect you from something that's like super strong, you know, like the fucking Hawk Moon. Just, you know, I think it would be cool for them to leave that gun the way it was, because that gun could allow you to compete against certain weapons that are just crazy strong. And let's say you're not as lucky as everyone. Not everyone's gonna be super lucky, okay? But you know where the Vex Mythoclast is, and you can try and get your character strong enough to the point where you can go and get it. But they nerfed it based off just nothing. Like, they nerfed it arbitrarily, and now you can't defend yourself against some of the better weapons in the game. Like, you're not on the same level as a Surge regime anymore. You're not on the same level as a Hawk Moon anymore. You're not on the same level as any of the other exotics anymore if you get the Vex Mythoclast. And that's kind of a jerk move. That, like, for them to look at something and classify it overpowered based off bullshit hearsay is kind of fucked up in my opinion. But I think that's kind of the way things are going. Kind of, you know, with the noob friendly conventions, the new definition of OP is kind of just the way things are gonna go, and there's not really shit you can do about it. That's just really what it is. There's not really shit you can do about it. And I'm not with that shit. I'm not with it. I don't get why that happens. Like, I've never seen any like crazy things going on with the Vex Mythoclast. I've never seen any crazy things going on with Pocket Infinity. Barely anybody even has it. Even the people who have it now don't even use it. But you see the Surge regime everywhere. You see the Hawk Moon fucking everywhere. I mean, everybody who's got a Hawk Moon to drop in PvE is using it in PvP. And that's just it. Like, they're using it. Everybody who's got a Surge regime from Xur is using nothing but that in PvP. Now, I do see different weapons from time to time, so I'm not gonna say that the Surge or anything is overpowered, but find it real peculiar that they nerfed the Mytho for no reason. It's like, now you can't defend yourself from fucking crazy Surge users all day. Like, cause Surge users are deep in the fucking Crucible, and I don't like arbitrary nerfs at all. And I would like to see a much deeper meta in this game anyway. It's like, why isn't there an armor that gives me like a higher magazine on hand cannons or something? Like, there was an armor that said, oh, if you're holding a hand cannon, you have double magazine size, or some shit like that, or you fire faster, or some shit like that. But instead, you get silly little shit that doesn't really do anything. I think that's really what Destiny is missing. But like I said, with the learning curve, newer people can't get down with that shit. Like, the quickest way to get people away from your game is to make it in depth and put in a learning curve. You're gonna get people running for the fucking hills. Like, certain games with that real in-depth meta and that learning curve brings about hardcore people that are starting internet websites and forums and shit about it. Like, I play this game on my phone called Clash of Clans. It has a learning curve. You have to learn to be proficient in Clash of Clans. That game is filled with bases of people who just couldn't get past the noob stage, who just sucked. And, you know, they never became proficient. They never got smarter. They never learned. And therefore, they never excelled. And the people who did get smarter, who did learn, are just feeding off of them. And they're gone. They're just out of the game. They played for a little while. It's like, they played for a little while. A bunch of them probably spent some money, and goodbye. Like, you lose now. Goodbye. You're gone. I like that shit. I would like to see more of that game. Now, I realize that's never going to happen on consoles because they want to keep people on the hook with easy bullshit to make them look like they've actually accomplished something when they fucking didn't. And that's just what it's about. That's just where things are going. Dark Souls, Demon Souls is a game that I spent a lot of time getting to know the meta with, that I spent a lot of time learning about and figuring out new strategies and getting in depth with the armor and the weapons and, you know, what I could do to be better. I spent a lot of time doing that, and I think it made me a better player for it. And in a lot of these games, it make me a better player for it. Halo 3 had a real serious learning curve, and it made me a better player for it. And I wish I could get more in depth with some of this shit, but I just can't. You know, things are just gonna be arbitrarily nerfed and knocked down. All the fun shit's gonna be taken out, and the noob thrashing is done, at least until the new noobs become the new champs, and then they start fucking up the next generation of noobs, and then they'll get phased out and fucked over with even more bullshit conventions, like just even more bullshit. Everybody starts with a kill streak type of bullshit. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but what I'm gonna try to do is stick to the real pure shit. I'm gonna try to stick to the games that are really out there, that are really about that are really making something new and great and in depth that you haven't seen. I think MOBAs might be where I need to go, because they're the only ones that aren't hand-holding. They're the only ones. Like, people say they have a toxic community. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you gotta be nice out there, or motherfuckers are like, get the fuck off my team. But I don't know, even my favorite, even one of my favorite, you know, tactical strategy games, Magic the Gathering, MTG, they've adopted noob-friendly conventions as well. So no one's immune. Everybody's trying to get as many people on the hook as possible. MTG removed mana burn, which was like something that it was basically resource management. If you produce too many resources in Magic, you basically fucked yourself. Like, you need to produce the resources you need to use, and you need to use them, or at the end of your phase you catch mana burn, which is damage to your life for being a fuck up. All right, and some people say, you know, whatever, I'm gonna overproduce mana to do what I need to do. Fuck the mana burn I've accounted for. But new players don't have to account for mechanics now. It's just easier now. They've changed the rules to make it easier for idiots. Same thing with they've now allowed you to counter a mana source. It used to be a standard thing in Magic that you can't counter mana. Like, you can't counter a basic land. Well, now you can counter Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual is just an instant now. All the shit you had to go, because dude, it was a brutal upbringing for me to learn Magic, and I liked it. I liked the fact that people were kicking the shit out of me, killing me on the first turn sometimes, before I learned how to move about in that arena. And I like that about shooters. I used to get destroyed in Call of Duty until I learned how to move about in that arena, until I learned how to get quicker on the controls, how to get nice with my weapons. Same thing in Battlefield. I learned through getting fucked up. I learned how to build myself. And I like that about Magic. I like building my strategy. I like learning how to think and how to move and what to do in different situations, and how to anticipate my opponent's movements. That shit is being removed. That type of skill, that type of learning, it's gone. It's going away. Even Magic, they're taking it out to invite. I mean, I want to say kids, but what I learned to play Magic as a kid. Kids aren't that fucking stupid. They're inviting idiots. They want to get idiots on the hook just for a little while so they can tweet about it and say, oh, I'm having fun. And then, you know, when they're done, once they spent their money, they're gone. And then just the hardcore left to really play Magic, or really play Halo, or really play Destiny, or really play Call of Duty or Battlefield. Or maybe one day they'll fuck up MOBAs, and then it'll just be the hardcore left once the fucking casuals have done their business and fucked off. But like, this is the way things are going. I really can't believe one of the greatest tactical games ever is being changed in order to invite noobs. All the shooters are being changed in order to invite fuck ups, because like, that's what it's about. It's not inviting new play, like new real players, new kids who are really about learning and building are gonna show up anyway. But fuck ups are never gonna show up because it's too hard. But now they're showing up. They're showing up in everything. They're showing up everywhere because motherfuckers are changing hardcore rules just to invite assholes. I don't get it, but I think it's some way for them to make more money and get more customers and do things of that nature. And I also think the arbitrary nerfs to everything is what's is also attached to it. I think, you know, arbitrary nerfs is something that pussies are crying about because they don't know how to use it. They don't want to put in the time to get better. I think that is also connected to it. But whatever. Enough of my fucking rambling. Hope you enjoyed this game talk. A little bit of game talk, bitch. And as always, if you like this commentary, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give that shit a thumbs down. I will catch you motherfuckers later.